I've never wanted to punch a fucking dolphin so much in my life. How are snipers? Welcome to the podcast. This is Not For Radio. We're your host, Duncan Hyde, Jay Reeve. You're a sniper elite. You fucking know this. This podcast is going to be remembered for one war story. We've got two as per.
Yeah.
But man, one of them is one of the all-time fucking greats, eh?
Yeah. A couple more cats let out of the bag. Stories that I hadn't recalled for quite some time until we mentioned hitchhiking back from a surfing comp in the South Island. It's very loose tie, all together. You're going to love it, and we appreciate you for supporting us.
Enjoy the potty.
Snipers, reload. Another war story incoming. Eyes on target, scopes dialed in. Let's see who hits the mark.
We're jostling for first story today, but you can go first, Jay.
Thank you very much, ladies before gents. And this is from a lovely lass by the name of Amber. Amber J, we'll call her, from here in New Zealand. And it's a goodie.
Okay.
Well, I fucking skim read it, so it looked funny anyway. I had a couple of mates, girlfriend and boyfriend, who lived in a cabin on my property that I rent in a rural part of Auckland. My mate has a thing. He enjoys a nature poo. And I'm okay and understand these kind of things, but also a big believer that this sort of thing should happen on your own property. Anyway, one day his girlfriend and I were pottering about the property, gardening and whatnot, and all of a sudden I hear her scream. Now, I'm really sure of the noise I'm hearing from her, but I truly didn't know if it was an emergency. So I go racing over to her, and she's at the bottom of her steps, and as I get closer, I'm still unsure of the situation unfolding in front of me. Is this an emergency? I look at her face to face, and still, once again, very unsure of the situation. I'm looking at her, and I'm trying to decipher if she's crying, vomiting, laughing, or all of the above while ranting in between the dry reaching. That's fucking disgusting! You fucking wanker! Yuck! Rant. Still confused on what the actual situation was, I then yelled her name. Lady, what's wrong? What's happened? She looks up at me with tears streaming down her face from dry reaching and manages to take a breath and says as she points, I picked up that fucking fruit salad can thinking, ugh, and I knew in that moment as my eyes met the fruit salad can sitting on the stairs there what it contained. I cracked up. She returned to dry reaching and expressing how vulgar he was/is. As I'm cracking up, I then look at the 400 gram or so can. Yes, people, not the fucking large family size can, just the normal spaghetti size, and I start to think. So I then turn to her and say, I wonder if he shat into the can or took a shit and then put it in the can. Because if he shat into that can, that is technique. I'm curious by nature, you must understand. Like I said earlier, I'm okay with this sort of stuff on your own property, and yes, it did disturb me a little knowing my mate was shitting all over my backyard, paddocks and nature, and I'd never seen him do it, so it wasn't truly happening is what I'd convinced myself, because we both have kids that go exploring in the paddocks, so like I said, surely this isn't truly happening. But now, realising all the evidence in front of me, my fears had become reality. With the overwhelming feeling that proceeded throughout my body, I thought, how could I use this situation to make sure my bro will never shit in my backyard again? I believe this is what they call revenge, and this is how I did it. I waited till a time where a bunch of our friends were visiting and decided to go public and confront him. Hey bro, you know how you shit in that fruit salad can?
Real icebreaker.
Instantly, I see him starting to look uncomfortable and glaring at me like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, excellent, my plan is working. Did you shit in the fruit salad can, or did you take a shit and put it in the can? He was bright fucking red at this stage, and I think visual messages telling me that I'm dead and I'm going to kill you later, and then says with a confident voice, I shit into the can. My instant reply with no hesitation and a proud tone was, fuck, that's wicked, bro. That's technique. Well done. Everyone, including him, cracked up. His girlfriend and I then explained / reenacted to our friends what had happened. Then everyone truly cracked up, but most of all, I believe he stopped shitting in my backyard. Cheers, bro. Love you. Up the wires. Shitting into a can.
I mean, she's right. The aim's incredible.
Do you reckon you could shit into a can? From height.
Or do you just plug it up the backside and hope you got the aim right and miss the whippy it?
Would you park on top of it like a rubbish bin?
Yes.
And snip that way. But even then...
Why is he doing it in a can when he's got the big backyard?
Fuck knows. He sounds interesting to say the least.
Like, part of me was wondering whether or not she was going to invite friends around and in the morning for breakfast was going to somehow reseal the can and then hand out the fucking fruit salad.
Imagine. Fuck.
So you know how we were chatting about him yesterday on the show? We don't have the trailer, but anyway, one of the new Untold doco is The Liver King.
Yes.
At the end of it, so I watched the end of it last night. At the end of it, he's like proudly, like, I don't know, grown crops, vegetables, stuff like that, and he's opened 300 stalls or some shit. And he's
what?
Like, yeah, and he's like, nothing beats nature, poo. You should see the stuff grow on the northern side. He goes out there every morning bare feet and takes a shit in the field where he's grown his vegetables and then sells them to people.
There's like, whether it's a rumour or whether it's true or not, there's a large amount of garlic which is imported into every single country. If it's not grown in New Zealand, basically, it will come from a part of the world where, for the most part, the fertiliser that they use to fertilise those market gardens is predominantly human excrement.
Here we go.
That's why you should always buy New Zealand garlic.
Short answer is no. Not typically grown in human waste. And...
If it's from a place
that's an old wives' tale.
I reckon that's some fucking...
Is that some marketing to try and get us to buy the fucking $35 a kilo Kiwi garlic, eh? Fair play to them.
I tell you what I have. This is fucking garlic chat is really sort of snowball here. Singular clove garlic. Have you seen that?
No.
So it's a garlic bulb, but it's just one clove. So you chip it and the whole thing is just garlic.
That's better.
What really tasty.
Way
it's
too much
almost
skin in a regular garlic.
Yeah, almost like a water chestnut. The other one is elephant garlic. Have you got into elephant garlic?
Nah.
It's exactly what it sounds like. Fucking ginormous garlic. Like the bulbs on it would look like a pear.
Cool.
They're massive. And so you'd use
Really
like one
shopping.
clove.
Fucking weird supermarket. Who has 3 types of garlic at the supermarket? No wonder you're broke.
It's the drinking. It's nothing to do with the garlic.
Well, the garlic's playing a small part. I think you should acknowledge your garlic problem.
Yeah, I fucking love garlic, eh? I really do.
Oh, wait, when you're cooking, it goes 3 cloves of garlic, and you're like, I'll take that as a 6.
Yeah, I'll take that as a whole fucking bulb, thanks, mate.
Yeah, every time.
Yeah, we've got a classic family meal for us is spaghetti aioli, which is like it's the simplest and most delicious thing you can have. It's like a fuckload of garlic chopped up, lightly fried off in olive oil, salt, pepper, and then you add some of the cooking, or basically the pasta liquor, which is like the water that they're cooking the pasta in. Add that to it, reduce it down, fucking salt, pep, and it goes, a couple of chili flakes, and you turn around. It is fucking delicious.
that?
Simplest, yeah, spaghetti aioli. Then you add a little bit of feta afterwards. You can chop up some olives, throw some capers in it. Anchovies if you like to.
How do you reckon the Italians feel about Waddy's canned spaghetti?
Fucking hate it. It's hilarious. You want to see because the only reason I know this is because JK is effectively he would consider himself
John Kerwin, former All Black. He's a Sir Knight of the Round Table.
Yeah, he would consider himself possibly more Italian than Kiwi, and so there's a whole bunch of stuff. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you cannot do in Italy when it comes to eating. Like they are so proud of the food and the history and how much time and effort that goes into it. Like they'll spend all day cooking for a meal, and everyone sits down and it's not non-negotiable. There's no fucking phones on the table. No one's getting up and leaving, and everyone sits there until everyone's finished, and then you pack the shit up. So when he wasn't allowed to meet his wife is Italian from just north of Venice in a place called Treviso, and so when he first was basically trying to tune her, he didn't speak any Italian, so he learnt how to speak Italian through listening to love songs, which he then translated. And so
I remember him telling us that.
It's a great way of doing it. Fucking very clever. And so he finally got to meet her parents because they were kind of wondering what was going on. And they turned up for lunch and sat down, had this amazing meal. Obviously, his conversation level was pretty minuscule, pretty shit.
Jesus, punishing when someone doesn't know your language, eh?
Yeah, fuck, it would have been tough.
You're sitting there like an idiot.
And because they kind of looked at him like, you know, like,
You
what are
big
you,
rugby buffhead. What's your intentions?
yeah, what are you doing here? Particularly because it's, you know,
Get
rugby.
out of here.
Yeah.
Get out of our country. We want all the tomatoes.
Off you fuck, thanks, mate. And so he managed to eventually sort of start to have this conversation. And so as manners in New Zealand is when people finish their plates, you clear their plates for them, you pick it up, and that's kind of, it slowly dwindles down. Anyway, so he was walking around and he went to grab his father-in-law, who he had so much admiration for and respect for. He went to grab his plate and he looked at him and he goes, I don't know what he said, but I could tell by the way that he looked at me. Roughly translated was, what the fuck are you doing? Sit down, you silly fuck. He's like, and then his wife was like, yeah, man, oh god, oh shit. He doesn't know what he's doing, Dad. It's okay. And he's like, sit down, fuck. He's like,
They're uncultured. He's from New Zealand.
yeah, you're never fucking sitting at my table for lunch again, you miserable prick. You're rushing this thing out, like you're in a hurry to get somewhere, and that's where he gets the slow down and enjoy it. Like people that sit there, it's like one of his biggest pet peeves, and it's one that I'm developing. Like, so we watch a TV show together as a family, and we're going through the cycles of them, and we kind of chat and we have dinner at the same time, and it's not ideal. Like in those sort of cultures, you sit there at the table and the conversation is the entertainment, and you get a greater understanding. You're not being entertained, and therefore you have a greater connection to the food because it's right in front of you, and
there's space to talk about it as well.
Yeah. And you go, oh man, this is delicious, and what have you done here, and so on and so forth. And so here's like, you lose the connection to the food that you're eating. So what's the point? Why don't you just have a fucking one of those magic shakes? You know, just fucking get it in you if you're in that much of a hurry.
Which ironically, JK likes.
Yeah, because he spends too much time fucking sitting at a table eating.
Oh, jeez.
Attention, snipers! Gear up and hold your positions. It's time to load up some war stories. Your tales from the front line, brought to life. Prepare to fire.
Jay, we got one from Jay. Oh, double J. What does it mean?
Inception.
This is from Vancouver, but from an OG Aussie. And it's a bit of a David Longy, but he says, I had to live it, so you get to hear it.
Perfect. Get the seat down a couple of notches for this one.
A story starts on an early December afternoon on the Gold Coast, sinking a few tubes. Now, one of the boys, let's call him Steve because that's his fucking name, pipes up and says he has a sailboat he has to get from the Gold Coast to Coffs Harbour, as it needs to end up in Sydney because it's going in the famous Sydney to Hobart race.
Wow, that'd be a big bit of kit then.
Yeah. He said he needs a crew to help him, and this is where I decide to pipe up with, I've done some sailing. I'll be available to help. And my mate, let's call him Albie because
that's his fucking name,
pipes up with, I've been on the boat with Steve, I'll come too. At this point, I'll probably be honest and say my sailing experience involved being on a massive catamaran that practically drove itself while we got blind drunk in very flat water and a sail was not even seen. So
that's my type of sailing.
Oh, yeah. So a few more tubes go down and we plan the trip. We leave the spit on the Gold Coast about midday, head south, and we get there the next morning. Easy. I have a few obvious questions like, does it have a fridge for beers? A barbecue for food, etc. I get told it's sweet as, has all that stuff. So I bring the food. If I bring the food, I'll be able to cook the meals. Sweet as. So I get to the marina, I'm looking around for this big, beautiful boat with all the bells and whistles. When I spot Steve and Albie on what can only be described as a pre-World War I 30-foot piece of barely floating timber with about 100 ropes to control everything and a small timber rudder that just sits on the back. But as anybody would, I thought, fuck it. What's the worst that could happen?
See, fuck that. I would love to do. I've got this massive desire to do a serious amount of sailing. Like I really want it. I want to spend a considerable amount of time on a boat. Like my dream would be to get a catamaran, like one of those big, like a 50-footer, like or somewhere in and around that, and then sail from Italy down the coast, Croatia, Montenegro, and spend a lot of time on the water in and around that area because it looks beautiful, and I think it'd be awesome. But I think that's what most people think when they hop onto boats.
Then they realise you're in fucking, I don't know, 30 square metre prison.
Yeah, and then you are, if you get in the shit, you are fucking miles from help, generally speaking.
So, we load up and attach a 10 horsepower motor to the back, and we navigate our way out of the harbour. I asked Captain Steve if I should go over the ropes, etc. He says, nah, it's all pretty standard stuff. Once we put the auto nav on, we can set it and forget it and just sit back and relax as we cruise down the coast. It's about 5 knot winds, a gentle 1 metre sweet as swell, and we head out through the heads, we raise the mainsail and we point towards New Zealand. But Steve puts me at the aforementioned piece of shit rudder at the back while he goes to set up the navigation system. Fuck yeah, we're underway, I think. So instructions come from the captain. Let go of the rudder, the autopilot is taking over. I release the rudder, boat turns completely in the wrong direction. And the sail flaps around like a wizard's sleeve. I said, Steve, that doesn't look right. So I grab the rudder again. He turns it off and we smell hydraulic oil from somewhere.
Oh, fuck.
We investigate and we find out the autopilot has blown a hydraulic hose and it's fucked. At this point I say, Steve, I think we should turn around. But no, not fucking Captain Steve on Captain fucking High Spirits. He says, no, we'll be sweet as. Let's just sail down the coast. So we point it back towards New Zealand and we start cruising. After a few hours of us pointing the same way, we notice we can't see land and the wind is picked up to about 20 knots. And the swell is now about 2 metres. I'm picturing the tiny fucking piece of shit boat the whole time. This is not good.
Fuck that.
As it gets dark, I realise we're pretty much in the international shipping channel. There are fucking tankers rolling past. We're going up and down like a fiddler's elbow, pretty much a dot in the ocean. Sweet fucking as. So it gets to midnight and Captain Steve pipes back up with, we need to tack back soon, boys, or we'll end up in New Zealand and miss our board. Oh, fucking hell.
And they must have some form of navigation on there. Fuck that.
Yeah, a fucking compass and a map.
What is that? What are they called? A Stetson or something. Eh?
Now, this is where the fact that all of us talk shit 24/7 comes back to bite us. I be honest, I say, you know what, Captain Steve, I haven't really done that much sailing. And he decides to tell me that the boat was actually given to him by his stepfather and he hasn't really gone out on his own before without him. So he hasn't really done it either. Not sure why, but I looked to Albie for support, and he says he's only ever been on the boat with the other sailors and has done fuck all as well. So here we are, 150k offshore, middle of a fucking shipping channel, 15 knot winds now and a 2 metre swell. What can go wrong? So we have a little chat and work out that if we turn hard, the mast will swing around and be on the other side and we'll be all good. So I'm at the rudder and we say go. I turn the rudder, boat turns, mast doesn't fucking move at all. We're at a 90 degree to the water. Everything that was on deck is now overboard and we're hanging on like a virgin on prom night. Oh, fuck. I pull the rudder back and we level out. After a little emergency chat, we realised we didn't release the right rope, so that's why it didn't move. But either way, we decided to get all of our safety gear on. We are anticipating we're fucked and tie off on the boat.
So they're now tethered to the boat just in case one gets fucking punted overboard.
So we try again. Rudder turns, boat turns, mast moves to halfway, and then we're back at 90 degrees to the water, just heading in the wrong direction. Attempt 2 was officially a massive fucking fail. It is at this point I decide to sack Captain fucking Stepson and make him sit at the rudder. Me and Albie are going to work out the ropes. Attempt 3. We turn the rudder and the mast starts to go, then the biggest bird... Then the biggest bird's nest of a rope gets caught, so I grab the load side and pull it while Albie gets on my back and starts to pull the knot apart. After about 30 seconds, the rope is eating into my bare hands. But Albie releases the knot, the mast comes around, and we're finally heading back towards the homeland of Australia. The deck is as bare as a Brazilian snatch. because everything has fallen into the ocean. But we are now heading towards land finally. Once again, I tell Captain Moron to move. I grab the rudder, I point it towards land. I don't think I blinked from 1 a.m. till 5 a.m. At one point, we were heading towards a park tanker. And I did not like that. Gave us plenty of horns and told us to fuck off, even all the spotlights on the back to warn us. They probably got a little chuckle when they announced to us that we needed to move further away, to then hear a reply of, sorry, we don't know how. Oh, fuck. At one point after this, Captain Dipshit says we might have to tack again or we're going to hit land. I believe my response was, if we hit land, I'm fucking jumping off the front and you're on your own. Oh my God, this is so good. But wouldn't you know it, just as the sun is coming up, the breeze drops to fuck all. Swells drop right down and some dolphins start swimming next to us. I've never wanted to punch a fucking dolphin so much in my life. Because I'm pretty fucking sure he was laughing at us. I got that calm. We ended up going into port under no sails and a shitty 10 horsepower motor. Needless to say, we somehow survived. I jumped off the front, kissed the ground, and told Captain Fuckwit that if he ever wants to do this again, he can fuck right off. But Captain Steve isn't done. He'd organised a lift back home for us. Again, I thought he was smart enough to look after us. How wrong was I? We go to the pub and meet a backpacker mate of his who was driving back so we can get a lift. Okay, I thought, this isn't too bad. Again, how wrong I was. So after the backpacker mate and Albie have about 10 tubes at the Hoey Moey, it's obvious that I have to fucking drive. So we get to the car park and we agree to buy a $500 piece of shit Camry that he was clearly living in. Oh, sweetie. Oh, my God. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck, this is so great. Oh, fuck.
Fuck, that thing would have been humming. Fucking... Just fucking smelling of 2-minute noodles and...
Theo and spoof.
Fucking sandalwood incense.
Oh, shit. I turn this piece of shit on to find out that the driver's window doesn't go up. But it's summer and I can deal with that. So we head off and I also find out that the heater in the car is stuck on foot mode at full blast. So I'm driving along, head freezing and feet sweating like a gypsy in church for the next 5 hours. I'm sure the two drunk passengers had a great time. Me, however, I did not. But hey, we all got home. I finally got to bed some 36 hours after I left the pub, and I lived to tell you Jibbers the story. So sweet ass, be well, go long, go hard, and up the wires.
Fucking, that is an exceptional tale.
Top tier. That's our winner.
Oh, yeah.
Ceasefire, snipers! Today's top marksman has been selected. The war story of the day goes to...
It is 1,000,000% going to Captain Fuckwit and Jay.
Yeah.
And Albie.
Shit, that hurt my head. You know when you get sore in behind your ears from laughing so much?
Oh, yes.
That fucked me. Well done.
That's why we do
so
this.
So good.
That's the best. Fuck. That is the best.
Yeah. We,
To stop you there, I just want to double down on this one because there's a little bit of feedback for you, Jay.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
Grab a seat on the bus to hell. Not for radio.
This is from Alex Allen. How do, boys? Jay, you're an arsehole. It nearly got me on a registrar. I want to thank you for the podcast. It allows me to breathe easier and makes a day shine even when it's raining. I listen whilst tearing around the UK farm to farm fixing tractors. In doing so, my hearing isn't that great. Luckily, my van has a pretty good sound system. I can hear it, and let's just say it is way too fucking loud. And people say, "Are you deaf?" And I go, "Hey, lol." Anyway, on a surprisingly warm day in the UK without AC in the wagon, I rely on 260 aircon. 2 windows down and 60 miles an hour. Anyway, I was listening to today's podcast titled Shock to the Cock. Just pulled up to the traffic lights. That brief silence on the radio before Jay delivered a line that got me in trouble and nearly on the register. It's the pre-cum that'll get you. To my horror. In the car with a mother and her younger daughters and the convertible right next to me at the lights, gasped in absolute shock. And not quietly either. I locked eyes with the mother who shouted, "You disgusting pervert." I said, "It's the radio. I'm so sorry. They're Kiwis." That light couldn't change fucking quick enough. Cheers, mate. Up the wires.
Fucking hell. Apologies. The number of people that we get in trouble with this. I mean, we all have each other to blame, collectively, I think would be fair to say. Like...
And that's awesome.
Teeks is giving me a fucking sideways look. Actually, if we fucking distill this down, who fucking puts the stories in front of us? Teeks.
Would that be a good slogan for our first range of, I don't know, like baby clothes?
It's the pre-cum. I'm the pre-cum.
It'll get you.
Fucking hell. Apologies anyway. I know this does make it for pretty interesting listening. Like when people ask, particularly people that operate in different sort of scenes, slightly older, predominantly women, they're like, "Oh yeah, I've heard you do a podcast. What is it? I'd love to hear it." This would be at a social setting where I'm wearing like a fucking suit and tie and I'm looking really respectable. And I heard your podcast goes really, really well. What's it called again? The Snipers? And I was like, "Oh shit,
the collar out, like,
fucking
oh,
god
yeah,
damn
here
it,
we go.
yeah." It does. It makes for a pretty interesting chat.
Why don't we just start saying it's like our radio show, but the Wild West? No rules.
Yeah.
And then they go, "And like what?" And so there's a picture on the wall, for example, of a story we got told of a naked skydiving granny.
Yeah.
Would you like that one?
Yeah.
Here, scan the QR code on my T-shirt.
There's a it reminded me of the story on the when you're mentioning the trip back for the fucking the grubby backpacker that gave them a lift home. His car. So I was hitching back from a surfing competition in Kaikoura, and I think I might have possibly even told this story before. And I needed to get back to go to university, and so I left my boards there with some mates who were going to be driving back to the Mount at a later date. But I had to wrap things up, and it was like a 3-star Pro-Am comp, so heaps of Australians and Americans come over. They fucking knock you out first or second round because they're good and we're not that good. And then you just basically spend the rest of the weekend drinking piss. Did this monstrous night the night before. So Sunday morning, I hit the road and I'm hitching back, giving myself a day to hitch back to the Mount from...
Ambitious.
Kaikoura, very ambitious. Oh, no, it was 2 days because I stayed the night in Wellington. And so we hit this... I was basically walking for ages out of Kaikoura, which is on the eastern coast of the South Island. That sticks out. It's a fucking beautiful part of the country. One of my favourite parts of the country, in fact. And car after car after car after car was going past. It was hot as fuck, middle of summer. And so now I'm sunburned as fuck, because you know how well I tan. And I had no sunscreen on. And I had the only T-shirt. So I had a backpack with a bottle of water, half a loaf of bread. This is real fucking... whatever those fucking Pickleberry Robbins fucking Huck Finn or whatever.
Yeah.
Pretty much just a knapsack on a stick over my shoulder.
Old Tom Sawyer over here.
And had my T-shirt hanging off the loop in my bag. And so anyway, finally this fucking bloke pulls over in a Toyota Hilux 2-door, and it's chock-a-block fucking to the roof full of his shit. And so he had been living somewhere down country and was moving. He had this massive dog that was fucking slobbering away, and same thing, the aircon on the feet thing was jammed on the heater, so this fucking poor pooch is sitting in the footwell, is just roasting away. I've got this bit of half a beer box which has got Wellington written on it or something. Anyway, so the dog is fucking heavily salivating to the point where it's just soaked, like fucking soaked my legs and my pants. Yuck. So I've got the sign bent round in a shape where it's just funneling the saliva off the dog back onto the floor, so it's not getting me. And so this guy's driving with his knees while he's packing a cone. And I was like, "Do you want me to drive?" And he's like, nah, mate, I got this. Windows are up. And I was like, surely he's going to fucking pop this down, because my window was fucked and didn't go down. His window's up. It's so fucking hot in there. I'm sunburned to fuck. And so he'd rip a cone while he's driving and then wind his window down like an inch. And then as he went to blow it out, he'd just go and pull it up. So it just went and just fucking bounced straight off the window. Basically ended up hotboxing me and this poor fucking dog that's about to die of dehydration. So this is from Kaikoura.
Imagine the poor dog's cotton mouth.
Oh, fuck. It was grim. And anyway, we turned up. I had this kind of like a flexi fare walk on for one of the ferries, which will remain nameless because the guy that I was on the tour with was one of the captains. And so I got to use it whenever I got there, but I ended up timing it quite well. So we were going to get there and jump on this ferry and scoot across the night before because otherwise I was going to have to wait till the morning. So I walked in, went to put my t-shirt. You're not allowed on the ferry without a shirt on. So I was like, fuck. So I ran through Picton.
You'd left your t-shirt in his car or something?
No, I lost it somewhere walking, hadn't even realised. And so I bought this t-shirt that came in like a pressed packet that was like the size of a pack of mints. And then you put it in a sink and it expands. It's like a tourist t-shirt with 4 Kiwis on it. And so I went in there, sunburned as fuck. Pretty good nicked at this stage. I'm like 18, 19 years old, fucking jacked up from surfing heaps. And these ladies like, fucking, what have we got here? I was like, I need a t-shirt, I need a sink, and I need to get this thing fucking rolling. So I walk out of the shop with the t-shirt drying on me, dripping wet. I need to sit on the ferry in the captain's quarters, which was just like a masturbation nest. There's fucking porn all over the walls and shit. I couldn't sleep because everywhere I went, I felt like it was because I was either wet with a t-shirt or I was lying in some dude's fucking baby batter. It was fucking crook as fuck. And then finally got to Wellington, ended up crashing out at a mate's place. And managed to strike up a meaningful one-night relationship with a chick that was also staying with his flatmate.
Perfect.
Yeah, it was a result.
Did she drive you further along?
No, so then, that's probably divulging a little bit too much. You can't hitchhike out of Wellington, so I jumped on, first thing in the morning, jumped on the train in Wellington and went up to Paikakariki, which is the first place where you can start hitchhiking on the side of the road. Grabbed the pie from the Piecock Bakery, which is fairly infamous, and stood out with a sign out, and then got picked up by a nurse that was driving to work in Palmerston North. And she's like, I'll drop you off at Bulls kind of on the way or whatever it was. We started chatting. This is like, I'm sunburned as fuck, wearing a shit tourist t-shirt. I'm fucking feeling pretty good about myself because I've had a great result the night before. Pie in hand, fucking 3 litres of energy drink in the other, and things are chipping along nicely. And very quickly, the conversation went to, like, there was a vibe in the vehicle. And long story short, we pulled over in a rest there and banged on the bonnet of her car before she dropped me off, and she's wearing a nurse's uniform. How's that?
Oh my God.
Yeah, so
that's life. That's a roller coaster of life right there.
Yeah, and so I was fucking exhausted at this stage because the day before we've been up all night, and then now any bit of juice left in me has been squeezed out. And so basically got picked up as she dropped me off by this bloke who was, he goes, oh mate, I'm driving through to Taupo. And I was like, legend. And he was obviously travelling solo, so he was up for a chat. I reckon I would have been in the car for 3 minutes before I was out cold, and then I woke up putting my knee through his glove box. You know when you have those dreams where you're falling, and went fucking buff and cracked his glove box in just as we're driving into Taupo, and he's like, "We're in Taupo, get out." And then hitched back, got one more ride back to the corner of where my parents live.
People don't really hitch now, eh?
Nah.
Yeah, a couple of murderers ruin it for everyone, don't they?
Exactly. But what a roll of the dice. The nurse was epic.
Have you ever seen her again?
Didn't even catch her name, I can even tell you. I walked past her in the street, wouldn't recognise her.
How good.
Yeah.
Warning, this podcast may cause unintentional projectile shitting. Not for radio, with Jay and Dunc.
Got some comedy gold here from one of my favourite comedians. I think we'll wrap up on this one because this is very funny. And we love Carl Barron.
Starved to death as a kid. Mum, never believed you said you were hungry. I'm hungry. She said, oh, you are not. I fucking am. I'm hungry. She go, how can you be hungry? I said, don't eat any food. You just ate. I said, I know. Well, how can you be hungry? I said, it's a miracle. You just think you're hungry, Carl. Yeah, there's a good reason for that. Because I'm hungry. Oh, you've got worms. I said, I wish I did. I'd eat those fucking worms.
Oh, fuck, he's the man. Nice little laugh to end on the podcast.
That's the
end of the podcast.
How often did you get told as a parent, oh, fuck, I'm hungry. get an apple or make yourself a sandwich.
Ours is always get a slice of bread.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then maybe a glass of water if you're lucky.
There's heaps of free air out there. Go and gobble it up. Thanks.
Oh, man. I reckon we're going to have to release that war story later in the week for everyone. And then obviously you guys get to hear it first being Sniper Elite, but that's fucking
so well written.
One of the all-time greats.
Yeah, I love that. That is exactly why I love this podcast, because of that caliber of writing and stories. Like, they're all great ones that come in, but it just no one else even comes close. Like, there's can't even hold a fucking candle to the crew that are a part of this. It's awesome.
And part of me likes it as well. Like, if I was scrolling and I saw us on Instagram or whatever, I'd be like, fuck, that looks like a long video. Nah. But then, like, once you're in, you know? It's
Yeah.
a club.
And yeah. And there's an expectation that sort of stuff pops up.
Oh, and it does. It's great.
Endlessly, too.
Anyway, we clearly still love it, so we'll keep doing it. Thank you for supporting us, and we'll be back tomorrow with another Not For Radio. Go well, go long!
Up the wires.